Hi guys, with the colder months on the way, I've teamed up with American Express to bring you a delicious comfort food. This is my Hungarian chicken paprikash with a creamy, luscious sauce and beautiful dumplings.
It's a perfect dinner party dish or just for a cozy night in, and all the ingredients I'm using are available on Amazon Fresh, which can be delivered right to your door to make life a little bit easier. And if you use your American Express Gold card when shopping, you can earn points on your purchases. You can even earn 4 times points at Amazon Fresh when you use your card, which is a total win in my books.
So the first thing we need to do is start off in a pan with our onions. So I have a little bit of oil going straight into the pan. And I say a small amount of onions, it's actually a bucket load of onions going in here. What we want to do is break this down until we get really gorgeous translucent onions, and really the flavor of this dish comes from the onions. It comes from the paprika they're going to add in here. So let's get frying and let's get cooking. Now, while these onions are cooking out, it is a very good idea to season as you go, and adding that touch of sea salt is going to help draw out the moisture of the onions and help them break down a little quicker. These onions are coming together quite nicely. Just let them cook out, and you want them to be broken down and to be nice and translucent. I'm going to chop up my green pepper and I'm going to chop up my tomato. So I'm just going to slice these into slivers. And with the tomato, exactly the same. I'm just going to take out the core in the center. Okay, let's check on the onions. They're looking pretty good. They're starting to come together now. You can see them breaking down, and the smell in the kitchen right now is absolutely fantastic. Now, this is where you want your onions to be. They've gone nice and translucent. They're a lot softer than they were, and you can see they've reduced right down. When I put these in, we had a whole stack of onions. Now we have these gorgeous reduced translucent ones. Now, once the onions are at this stage, the top tip that comes from the lady who gave me this recipe, lovely Sophie Mautner, she suggests that you take the pot off the heat. And the reason you do this is that when you add the paprika in here, by stirring it in like this, you're going to coat those onions in that gorgeous smoky flavor without burning it and giving it a sort of bitter flavor. So just toss those onions and look at that. You just transform them into this red, gorgeous, steaming pile of beautifulness. It's a technical term. We're going to get this back on the heat now and bring it slowly up to temperature and add in our chicken. Now, the chicken I'm using for this is chicken thighs. I have bone in, skin on, and the reason I'm using these is that you will get great flavor from the bone being in there. You're also gonna get lovely flavor from the chicken thighs, which is that dark meat. It's a little bit different and it's well worth using in here. So pop your spoon out, and it might seem strange not to brown these off here, but it's going to result in really luscious and tender chicken thighs. So pop them straight in with the onions. I've got about 8 chicken thighs going in here. Let's give it all a good season with some black pepper, a little bit of sea salt, and then straight in there with our peppers and tomatoes. And at this point now, all I've got to do is top this up with some water. So we've got about 500 mils, which is about 2 cups of water going in here. And you want to bring it up just around the edges of the chicken. You don't want to cover it completely. And we're now going to pop a lid on top, and this is going to cook for an hour and a half, just until that chicken is beautifully tender and you've got this really rich and luscious sauce. I'm actually going to pop it over at the back here. And while that cooks away, we're going to make up some really simple classic dumplings that go into this chicken paprikash when it's served up. For that, you're going to need some flour. So just mix the flour around the bowl. We're going to season it up with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Now, the great thing about these dumplings is just how quick they are to make. So mix that up. You've got really nice seasoned flour at this point. Make a little well in the center, and we're going to crack 2 large free-range eggs in here. Good tip if you get egg shell in there like I have is to use a bit of the other shell to scoop it out. Otherwise, you go in with your fingers and it scoots all around the place, and you don't want that to happen. So we're just going to break up those egg yolks and then just slowly but surely incorporate that. Okay, that's our eggs incorporated quite nicely. So to this, we're going to add about 100 mils of water, and this will just help bring that together. In fact, I say 100 milliliters, but do it by eye. Do it to the point where you can see it starting to clump together. Start with it like a tablespoon at a time, and just bring that in. You don't want the dough to be too wet. It's looking good. Just keep adding the water as you go. Right, this dough is looking pretty good. I've got 2 tablespoons. I've got a generous amount of salt going into this pot. I'm gonna give that a good stir up. And now it's dumpling making time. The beautiful thing about this is that you can do it right at the pot. You're gonna take up nice little spoonfuls of this dumpling. And the great thing about this is it does not have to be perfect. I'm looking for sort of rough, bite-sized balls, but you don't have to make it too perfect. Straight into the pot, And it's gonna cook for about 2 to 3 to 4 minutes. Once you have a large army of dumplings in your pot, you're just gonna let them cook out. And once they pop up to the surface, you're good to go. Beautiful. Cook, my little dumpling friends. Right guys, we've got the dumplings cooked up, looking beautiful. They've been sitting while my chicken cooks off, which is now in a really good place. It's had about an hour and a half, and check out that steam. Look how beautiful the sauce is looking. And at this point, you should have beautifully cooked chicken. Let's have a look. Oh, it's almost falling off the bone at this point, and that's exactly where you want it to be. It still should hold shape, but it should be really soft and tender. Now the reason I'm taking this out is because I want to make that sauce just a little bit more rich and indulgent. So while it's on the heat like this, I'm gonna add a little loosened mixture of some corn flour and water. I'm just gonna pour that straight in. This will help to thicken our sauce. So it's about a teaspoon of corn flour to a teaspoon of water. Now, in amongst this lovely sauce, we're gonna get in there with some sour cream. So transfer that into the mix, and we're just gonna spoon this through until we have a lovely creamy finish to this tomato sauce. So stir this through, and we're gonna cook this for about 5 minutes, just until that sauce thickens up ever so slightly, and then it's time to serve chicken, dumplings, and a beautiful sauce. This sauce is looking awesome right now, so I'm just gonna turn off the heat. We're gonna get our chicken straight back into that pot, and now it's time to bring it all together with those beautiful dumplings, because you wanna make sure that they're nicely coated and warmed through in that really rich and luscious sauce. So just give it a little mix through. Let them take on a bit of that flavor. This just looks spectacular. This is like proper comfort food. It's a really great winter warmer. And now, the beautiful moment of getting to serve it all up. So, you want a generous amount of chicken. I would say about 2 chicken thighs per person. And you can see just how tender these are. They're literally falling off the bone. You want 1 or 2 of those gorgeous little dumplings. Now, it might not look like much. This is not one that's gonna win Instagram awards, but I can guarantee you this is totally delicious and so worthwhile making. I'm just gonna garnish it a touch with a little bit of parsley over the top. And that, my friends, is literally it. You don't need much more here. I'm gonna grab a knife and fork, and all that's left to do is give it a little bit of pepper just over the top and dive in there and try it, because this is ready to be eaten. I mean, there's only a handful of ingredients in here. It's totally transformed that chicken into something completely delectable and delicious. Now, if you're tempted by just how easy this is and the great results you get, you can check out the recipe in the link below over on my website. Make sure you hit subscribe for this channel, because you will get notifications as soon as they arrive, these brand new videos. Leave us a comment letting me know if I've done justice to Sophie's beautiful Hungarian chicken paprikash. And until then, my friends, see you soon. Hello, coughing child. Are you dead set to take this recipe? Okay. See you later. Bye. Just the baby.